is Chris Boardwine from Davie County Diggers. I appreciate you watching the video. Today we're going to talk about a V-nickel spill that I found a few weeks ago while I was metal detecting. And I found two V-nickels in the same hole way out in the woods, and one of them came out of the hole halfway decent, and one of them came out pretty roached. Not a whole lot I could do to it. I can see that there's a date there, I just can't see anything on it. I can make out the V on the back, but a lot of the finer details is just gone. And you know, as a metal detectorist, I think we're more or less resigned to the fact that a lot of the relics that we dig out of the ground, we can do a little bit to try to bring them back to where they were, but ultimately, being in the ground for 100 years or so, you know, it's just going to do its damage, and you can further damage a coin or a relic by trying to clean it up too much. So sometimes we just got to let things go and accept it for what it is, and I think most detectorists are okay with that. But ultimately, we'd like for our finds to look good. That's why we're out spending the time swinging that detector so that we can find cool stuff and show it off. So, but on this particular case, you know, when I brought it back into the house, obviously I'm not going to put any water on a V-nickel or a buffalo or anything like that. But you know, I hit it with a dry brush and ran the Andres pencils over it a little bit, but ultimately it just didn't do a whole lot for it. So I put it in a sleeve and put it in my finds pouch, and I was just resigned to the fact that that was going to be a V-nickel I could never really do a whole lot with. So fast forward to a few days ago, and I'm on Facebook, and I see a post from a guy, and he's showing a before and after of a V-nickel, and the results are astonishing. The V-nickel looks in amazing shape, whereas before it was looks just like mine. And I'm trying to read a little bit about it, and we'll talk about his method here in just a moment. But there's several other methods that I've seen out there for guys that talk about how to clean up V-nickels. Some of the things I've seen are scouring it with steel wool, and I think that there's probably some merit to that. It did take a lot of that crud off of it. I think that in the long run, probably it's going to scratch that coin pretty badly, but hey, if it makes it look a little bit better, it may be worth it to you. There's also a bunch of videos out there that's going to show folks freezing white distilled vinegar and then putting the coin in there and then pouring in hydrogen peroxide and leaving it overnight like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not do that. I've watched enough of those videos where guys were looking at it and then coming back the next day and saying, you know, I ruined that coin worse than what it really was. It's going to make it shiny and silvery, and there's even a chance that it's going to pull a date off of it. But the pitting that it does on that, it really looks terrible. It doesn't even hardly look like the same coin. So I'll let y'all decide for yourself. Go look at those videos and see what you think. But I don't think it looked better after in those cases. I think it almost looked better dirty, or how it looked coming out of the ground. So one thing I'll preface this video by saying is this is a throwaway coin for me. There's no value to this V-nickel. A V-nickel that's in darn near mint shape, pulled out of somebody's attic, it's been there 100 years, is just not worth that much money. So I'm not doing anything to destroy this coin. It's not worth anything now to anyone in the world but me. And right now what I'm able to display is just a dark stained coin that you can't see anything on it. So I'm prepared in this experiment that I may just absolutely make it worse. I don't know how I could, but because it's already terrible. But don't do this on something that you know, sentimental to you or it means a lot to you. This is just a throwaway V-nickel that if I destroy it, who cares? But I am kind of curious to see how it goes. So hang with me. We'll walk through the steps and let you know what we're going to do. All right, well, everybody, this is the V-nickel that I was talking about. This is point of reference, so you can just kind of tell what we're dealing with. As I've said, you can see the detail there on the V. You can see that it's there. When you flip it around, you can see the bust of Lady Liberty. You can see the stars in the outline. You can tell that there's a date there. I can't tell what it is, but it would be real easy to pick this coin up and not even know what it is. So this is just a before, and I'll take a couple photos here for you, but this is just kind of let you know what we're dealing with, that crust that encompasses this coin. So we'll see what we can do. All right, well, the method that we're going to use to try to clean up this V-nickel is through the use of a rock tumbler or a coin tumbler. For anybody that may be familiar with my channel, you might remember that I did a video about 1.5 years ago where I cleaned up some Clyde coins in the rock tumbler. It worked pretty good. I was pretty impressed with it. I never imagined at that time that I would ever be trying to run a V-nickel through there. But it's like I said, as I've mentioned before, this coin's roasted. There's nothing I can do to destroy the value of the coin. There is no value to the coin. Even if I make this thing perfect, it's just not a valuable coin. So all the value in it lies in the fact that I dug it out of the ground. So it means something to me. So why wouldn't I want to make it look nice to try to display it? Because the coin wouldn't be here if it wasn't through me getting out in the woods and metal detecting it. So I'm not going to go intricately through all the detailed steps of the rock tumbling and the coin tumbling. I did that on the previous video, and you're welcome to go back and check it out. But basically the premise behind it's going to be is we're going to do 2 runs through the rock tumbler. The first being for a couple hours with nothing but aquarium stone, water, and a little bit of detergent. We're going to dump it after that. Then we're going to run it back through on another cycle with aquarium stone, a little bit of water, and some CLR. So we'll run through those steps right now, and I'm estimating that I'll probably run it through the tumbler probably in the area of about 5 to 7 hours, and we'll see what happens. So who knows? I might make this thing really, really awesome. I might just absolutely make it worse than what it already is. So who knows? But we'll know in about 6 or 7 hours. So hang with me. We'll get started on it. All right, folks. Well, we got everything we need to try to get this set up going. I'm going to take a little bit of common aquarium stone, non-colored, a little bit of water. I'm going to pour it into the rock tumbler drum about halfway. I'm going to put just a dab of ordinary dish soap in there. Any kind of dish soap you got's fine. And 1 roached V-nickel. All right, we'll be back in 2 hours. All right, guys, well, I'm back, and I let that V-nickel tumble in the coin tumbler on the first cycle for 2 hours, changed it out, put it back in the tumbler with the stone and the CLR. And I let it run for about 5 or 6 hours, pulled it out, and really didn't see a whole lot of change at all. So I went ahead and threw it back in, let it keep going. And to be honest with you, this coin has tumbled for pretty darn near about 20, 21 hours. So let me turn you around, let you look at it, and you can decide for yourself if you think it's better or worse. So hang on. All right, well, you can see this is what a V-nickel that was completely roasted looks like after being in a coin tumbler for almost a day. So you can still see that the V is more prominently noticeable. You can definitely tell that you can see a date, but I'm not confident or convinced that I could make it out. Maybe y'all have better eyes than me, but I mean, you can look at this definitely and tell it is a V-nickel, whereas before you kind of had to hold it at a certain angle, hang a flashlight to it. But again, would I do this to a coin that was really, really sentimental to me or valuable? Obviously not. This was a burner coin that I could throw away and not have any heartburn about. I just kind of wanted to do it as an experiment to see what would happen. So with that being said, I did mention there were a couple other ways to try to clean up a V-nickel. And the first had to do with hydrogen peroxide and all that. And I'm not going to do that because it really, really trashes the coin. I got some silvery look to it, and I do think I'm going to spend a little bit of time hitting it with some steel wool just to see what happens. And I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like, but give me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Obviously, this is not the end-all be-all way to clean a V-nickel. Am I happy with it? On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe about a 5. Do I think it looks better than what it did? Yeah, I guess a little bit. It looks silvery, but I don't know. It's It's obviously not to any type of good condition, but perhaps a little bit better. So anyhow, I'll come back and show you what it looks like as soon as we get done hitting it with some steel wool. All right, guys. Well, we took a little bit of time and rubbed this coin with some steel wool. And the results of doing that were pretty immediate. I started to see, even after I coin tumbled it, there was some of that dark stained patina that was nestled down in the crooks and crannies. And the steel wool got a lot of that off. You can still see there's a little bit here on the back side. But one of the things that I noticed was it was getting rid of the detail of the coin, the stars and whatnot along the right-hand side of that coin very, very quickly. And so I went ahead and I didn't spend a lot of time on that effort. I went and did a little bit more on the back, and the V started to become a bit harder to read, so I stopped. So again, if you've ever wondered what it would look like to tumble an old coin, and maybe even to put a little steel wool to it, perhaps me doing this can show you that that's probably not going to be your best go, your best route. I see people on Facebook all the time saying, yeah, I hit this with steel wool, or I threw this in the coin tumbler and it looked like a perfect coin afterwards. And I'm not questioning the authenticity of their comments or saying anything about that. All I'm saying is that for me, this was the results that I got on this one. So it definitely looks more like a coin. It's shiny. It doesn't just look like a rusted knockout or something like that. You can definitely tell it's a coin. And again, I'm not heartbroken about it looking like this, because it's just a throwaway V-nickel that really, before I did this, it didn't look much better than this. So I appreciate y'all watching the video. If you've got any tips or tricks on how you clean up your V-nickels or old Buffalo nickels or anything like that to make them shine or look nice, I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, we'll see y'all in the next video. This is Chris Boardwine with Davie County Diggers. I appreciate y'all tuning in.
I can't get my head above these walls.